Guys, deluded, thank you very much for tuning back in. Fridays equals Q&A days when I answer you guys questions put to me by you guys. So with that being said, thank you very much for your questions, whoever you are, wherever you are, and things like that. Without you, this thing couldn't happen. I'm very appreciative of the constant support, and if you're new here, you're here for a reason. Either your friends recommended you, or you've just seen this sexy face on YouTube and thought, who's this? And yeah, you're here, innit? So let's crack on. Each and every time, people, thank you for the questions. If I've missed you out, apologies. You guys know I don't do it on purpose. I give people every opportunity to ask a question. But let's not waste any time. Let's crack on. Antonio asks, DG, do you think Mertesacker... Let me do that again. Don't know why my brain stopped working. But anyways, DG, do you think that Mertesacker can change the structure of the academy from top to bottom? Well, you'd like to think that's his job, ideally. I mean, I don't know for top to bottom because he's got to work. It might be his job immediately to ensure the welfare of the academy players, ensure that they have all that they need to possibly realise their potential either at Arsenal or away from here, and just ensure they have the best football in education and things like that. So you'd like to think that's his job. He is in charge of that, but for the whole structure to change, it has to go from top to bottom, probably out of his jurisdiction. You're probably looking at, I wouldn't say Kroenke, because even though he's the owner, I don't think he'd be directly related. It'd probably be Unai Emery to a degree, because you'd like to think the academy, we've all got to play the same way. If I was the manager, I'd want the academy from top to bottom. We all play the same way, all got the same formations and things like that, which Arsenal do. But any changes would probably have to be run by him, and probably Mislintat to a degree. I know Mislintat's stuff ain't with that, but if you consider that Mislintat's is scouting to bring in either young players for the under-23s, under-18s, and then obviously you've got Unai Emery, which you'd like to think if some of these players are good enough, can go up a level. And then you've got obviously Mertesacker, who's in charge of that. So you'd like to think that Mertesacker is saying these players are good enough. We don't need to find a young player that's overseas that's as good as them or better, because these lot have a genuine chance. Then it's down to Unai Emery to see that and think, okay, I'm gonna put a hat on him, and maybe in the next year or two, you lot can come through. But I don't think Mertesacker can, I wouldn't say the word change the whole structure. I don't necessarily think so. The one thing I'd like him to change is to improve defensively. But again, I think that comes from top to bottom, if I'm honest with you. I only say this because for years, what happens at first team level, for good or bad, happens at under 23s and under 18s level. Even if you look at the under 23s, we've struggled to hold a lead against Manchester City when they lost 6-5. They scored in the 90th minute and ended up drawing 1-1 against Brighton. And the other game, there's another game them they played, man. I can't remember it, people, but they were behind in that as well. So yeah, defensively is where he'd probably need to adjust it, in my opinion. Ben's asked, what wingers should we target? The wingers I want, we can't afford. We've seen Malcolm and Goudet's depart and go elsewhere. Lozano's going to cost a pretty penny now. His price defo gone up after that hitting the free kick against the crossbar in the Champs qualifier, and obviously scoring. Chucky's got a big future. But I would look at, it's hard to do this when you put me on the top of my head. I'd look at almost anyone that I've made a scouting video on. Pardon me, I'd look at Pedrito, I'd want Lozano, Ismail Assar looks like a rough diamond of sorts. You've got Pepe of Lyon, who's again a rough diamond. There's a couple of players out there. I'd love to bring in Pavon as well. None of them are world class yet, but have potential to be good players. So they'd be my ones. Emmanuel's asked, why are they not investing in youngsters instead of moving them out? I'm not too sure. I'm assuming you mean I don't know what you mean. Why are they not investing in youngsters instead? I don't think you meant of instead moving them out. I'm not too sure of this. I don't really get the question, my guy. But if you're trying to say why are we moving them on rather than developing players, I honestly don't have a clue. So yeah, I don't know. You've also asked, does Ozil fit Unai Emery's project or not? I think on one hand he clearly does, because he's a quality player and he's more on defending. He's never going to be good defensively, but he's more on defending than people give him credit for. So you could say, yeah, if he's willing to adapt and he's one of the best players in the squad. I'd say no, because the sort of characteristics that Unai Emery, you'd like to think Unai Emery's teams come with, nothing to do with Ozil. Ozil's more poetry in motion. He's not tenacious. He's not really galvanised like that. He's not a pragmatist and them things there. And all of them sort of things. He's not really on it like that. So I'd say yes and no, but it's down to him to convince, I guess, based on the rumours we've seen. Marble Halls asks, is Reece Nelson overrated? I get he has potential, but then we big him up to be this potential world beater. I don't think he's overrated. I feel what people are seeing is that they see headlines like the biggest talent since Jack Wilshere, and they fail to understand the man is 17, 18. Well, he's 18 now, and we're expecting him to be able to do a madness. He's still learning. I think he's got genuine potential to go on to play for England and have a main future at Arsenal or Hoffenheim, or a bigger club than Hoffenheim based on the rumours we've seen. So the problem is with football nowadays, many people don't watch football. They just claim they do. They watch 30 seconds on Twitter and things, and they run headlines. And the same people that do this will kill them. He's a good player. I believe in him all the way. I'd say overrated is harsh, but if that's what you feel, that's what you feel. Pot asks, have you heard of a 17-year-old named Sandro Tonali? And if you have, do you think he has a big future at club level? That name rings a bell. Is he obviously he's Italian? Does he play for Roma or Inter, one of them teams there? If he doesn't, then I don't know him. But that name definitely rings a bell. I'm so sure I spoke about that name in my Euro 20, whenever the Euros, whatever age group the Euros was in the summer, under 19s. That's it. I've seen that name. But yeah, man, it rings a bell. But yeah, I'll do my research and get back to you on that, man. I won't sit here and pretend things like most other YouTubers. What else we got? Main man Uber asks, if money wasn't an issue, which goalkeeper, right back, and defensive mid would you go for? I would still go for Torreira, so I'll kill that. If money weren't an issue and we could sign a keeper, I'd actually still go for Lafont. And in regards to right back, it's tough, man. But there's Traoré that plays for Gunamp. I can't say that name in France. I like what I'm seeing of him. A bit more scouting is required. There's a couple. Is it Dumfries of PSV? I can't say his name. He looks decent. If I know it's not exactly a defensive mid, but I'd bring Cousins to this club if it was possible. The lad that plays for Gladbach, I think he's similar to Xhaka but different. Many people will see that. I think we don't need another player like Xhaka. So we'll see. You've also said, do you see Dembele playing attacking mid in the future? Yeah, I do, man. Similar to Hazard, I think he should be given that role in the future, in that he can play 10, drift to the flanks and stuff like that. He takes up a lot of central positions in the match anyways, so he definitely could. And I'm so sure he's been played there for France before, so you're right on that. You've also said, do you think Pep Guardiola, if he took charge in 2016, would have won us the league or challenged for it? Easy for me to sit here, my guy, in hindsight and say, yeah, he would. But, I mean, it's Pep Guardiola. He definitely would have, man. I think he would have got us over the line, to be fair, in that aspect. Probably would have signed an outfield player. But, yeah. Shiz asks me, you've got 150 million to spend next summer. Who do you buy? I'm giving PSV what they want for Lozano, first and foremost. Lozano comes to this club. Probably, yeah, that would be the first one. You really put me on the spot with that. Pedro, he'd come to the squad. Lozano, if not, I'd go for Pedrito. I'd invest in a left and right back if that helps. You put me on the spot, my guy. I can't really say names like that, but they're the areas I'll be looking at. I believe fullbacks need to be addressed. Kieran's asked, what's your thoughts on Raheem Sterling to Madrid? I'd love him to do it, man. I mean, it'll be quite some rise, and I can see why they're linked with him. He's the best player in the Premier League in the same way Wes Morgan is the best centre-half. You guys know once they play for Jamaica or they're of Jamaican descent, I've got an extreme bias to them. But on a serious, it's a good note. I'm not too sure how valid them claims are. I know they're doing a rebuild with Ronaldo leaving and them needing to kind of pattern the side anyways. I have seen for a while Sterling and City want to get a contract sorted out. So maybe this interest is legit. Maybe it's not in regards to his contract. I don't know, my guy. You said, could you see us going for Richarlison next summer if he bangs again? Well, considering he went for 50 million to Everton, you'd probably need to put an extra 20 or even double that with the rate football's going. So I'd say no. But I love him. I think he's a good player and he's been called up by Brazil, so I hope he does his thing. And you've also said, is it time for Arsenal to start scouting South American leagues? Probably, yeah, we need to. In the same way, we need to scout everywhere better, definitely. But I'll give the club credit where due. I do think being a British club is difficult getting these players over the line because of work permit issues. You look at Wellington Silva had the issues. You look at Pedro Buffalo. You look at Galindo. You look at even Joel Campbell. I know it's not technically South America, but you look at Joel Campbell and Vela. So it isn't disadvantage for us. Spanish and German clubs, I think even Holland can get around the work permit stuff. So yeah, I definitely think it's time to start taking them that seriously, my guy. JP's asked, is promoting youth no longer a demand for big clubs competing in Europe? I don't think it's that. I just think you can't have it all. You can't have 10 great 10 wonder kids and expect to realistically challenge for everything. There needs to be balance. But, I mean, would most fans want to sit down? If Arsenal, would we sit down and admit that, okay, let the club throw in 7, 8 even more young kids and let them play. They're gonna put in good performances. Equally, they're gonna bottle games, and we're gonna be less competitive and have to wait even longer to get back to where we'd want to be. If most fans would accept that, then cool. But it's a bit of you can't really have it all sort of thing, my guy. So yeah. Tariq's asked, best under 23 centre back in the Premier League, Davinson Sanchez. Best signing in the Premier League so far, I'd go Naby Keita, but Kovacic, Jorginho have been good. There's a couple other signings that have been good, but you've put me on the spot, they'd be mine. Yeah, and you've also put, apart from Arsenal, in FM, who would you use as a save? Probably Gladbach, to be fair, or ironically Spurs, because like I'm bored to take Spurs to win in the Premier League, because it's the only time they're going to do it. Come on, Spurs fans, Arsenal are stressed. You know I got to get at you small. But on a serious note, Cyrus has asked, could Yaya Toure be a good fit for our squad? I love Yaya. It's purely on sentiment, yeah. If it's a business decision, no. He's at the end of his career. Probably in regards to Arsenal, he'd have to take a mad wage cut, because I'm so sure his City wage must make him one of the highest paid players at Arsenal if it was to work like that. Probably, yeah, it's not really worth it, to be honest with you. It's not like it's the defensive mid Yaya Toure of Barcelona. He's not really, I wouldn't do it as much as I love him. Jay's asked, I can't even see my handwriting here. Poor handwriting. You've asked, will Hector Bellerin ever recapture his early form? It's a question for him, to be honest with you. He is stagnating. He's actually improved going forward this season. He's got 3 assists, but defensively, some of it's not his fault. He's being doubled up against, but seeing is believing, my guy. It's down to him and Nuno Emery to work together to get the best outcome in that. He is stagnating. There's no way around it. Jacobs also asks, finally, could we play a 3-4-1-2? It relieves pressure on the wing-backs while allowing Aubameyang, Lacazette and Uba to play in their best position. It's a 3-5-2 out of it. That could definitely work, my guy, but the fullbacks, I don't think it would relieve any pressure. I think we'd have to seriously work with them. I think the midfield would be crucial, because they'd have to protect the back three and also help defend from wide areas. But it's a good formation. I would definitely be up for that, to be fair. And I can't understand why you're asking me, because you clearly know your stuff already, and I commend you. I actually didn't think of that formation. I wish I did, man. Might have to get you on this. So yeah, man. All I can say is, someone asked me, May Manu, but also asked me, to give my opinions on that Udinese guy that got bagged for, what did he get in trouble for? Dismissing God or making derogatory statements about God in general. Quite rightly so. It doesn't matter if you're not religious, if you're mocking another religion or country or whatever. They should come down on you like a ton of bricks, essentially. So yeah, I know Buffon got in trouble for something similar as well, but we'll see what happens, man. All I can say is thank you for sticking with me, people, man. It's been a lovely Q&A, as it is each and every week. Please don't let it stop there. Get in the comments with more questions. No question is stupid. So yeah, man. Guys, Deluded. I'm out.